If you're a person who's really challenged by trying to achieve your goals, if you're a person who feels like you're getting distracted, if you're a person who's not getting things done and you may be feeling a little bit of regret about each day and you're not making your way through, my tactic to recommend is that you think about that goal. Set yourself a to-do list. Physically handwrite a to-do list. Don't do sticky notes on your phone. Don't do emails. Don't do any of that sort of stuff. Get a blank sheet of paper, get a pen, and write. Keep that piece of paper with you. It's old school. It works. Why not?
This, ladies and gentlemen, is our beautiful warehouse.
I think the secret to my success, if there was one thing, and I think there's 10, but the secret is that I put a mirror up and I listen to what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't want to be fucking called out on giving advice when I'm not doing it myself. Mm-hmm. We personally got some big challenges. We got challenges with our competitors. We got challenges with getting undercut on price. We got challenges with like our customers, like constantly trying to keep our customers happy. And so I guess, some things to think about that I do, rather than sit here and say, have you tried this, this and this? Because I don't doubt that people will sit here and go, oh mate, you know what I reckon a great idea is? Let's do fucking umbrellas. And you're like, dude, I'm not doing fucking umbrellas. We make coffee. Some shit like that, I don't know. But what I can say is that there's some principles that I've come up with that I use in my business that I'm then saying to our clients, why don't you try them? Things like, in the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? Because that's Christmas. So by Christmas, if we were to sit down and write a to-do list, what would that look like? Huge. So that's, for me, what success looks like. And that's like the informal way that I'm trying to show people that you can actually get the outcomes, and solve your challenges. And so for you, I was like, so tool number one was like, in the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? And then the second tool is focus on the end user. And so focusing on the end user, like, it could be me. And you could say, and so we have a thing we call an avatar, which is we call them Trevor and Teresa. And they were our end user of our services, but you guys could have your barista avatar, your cafe owner avatar, and Kobe. So how do we make sure that every time Kobe buys a coffee, it's fantastic? And you're already like trying to solve that with different solutions and challenges, but it's just, it literally could be as simple as you two talking to each person in the business constantly and saying, are we thinking about Kobe? And I don't care if you want to use me. Like, I can literally come and talk to them and say, I'm all over the city all of the time, and I'm going to prefer to actually pull in somewhere where I see Dane's coffee. I will seriously prefer that if I saw it in more places. How do we make sure that he gets fantastic coffee? But what I will say is 50% of that experience is the personality of the person behind the machine, potentially, And that's a challenge that's difficult to solve.
Great, Kobe. Thanks, mate.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you take one of them as well. The coffee goes up the spout, and it goes through the coffee, goes up the spout, the coffee, and stews it. This one, the stovetop, which I use at home, goes up and sits.
Right.
So it doesn't percolate and stew.
With these chairs, I go away on holidays and the chairs fall apart. I might have had a few days off. I did a road trip, 14,500 kilometres. While I was driving, I was on eBay doing some shopping, and so I picked up a few things. One of them, Together is Better, a little book of inspiration by Simon Sinek. Some great little inspirational quotes. If the challenge we face doesn't scare us, then it's probably not that important. What's in this one? This one. Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore. So looking at the adoption cycle. There is a very early video on this YouTube channel that I did with Alexi talking about the adoption curve. We might even reshoot that one. So if you like our channel, go and look for that. It's about 450 videos down the list. That's the adoption curve. Really excited by this one. Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. What Tim Ferriss did was obviously his very famous podcast, and he had a moment of an epiphany where he thought, I'm going to put this book together. I think in fact it took him 10 years to write this book, if you listen to his podcast about the book. So I'm going to read this whole book and I'll get through it, but what I'm looking for is the individual little gold nuggets, and that's certainly something that Tim Ferriss was able to find. This might end up being a collector's item. It's clearly a issue with the printing of this particular book. It's probably why it was cheap on eBay. Something for you guys to think about is, what are the strategies? What's your plan? What is the result? So what's the goal, the aim, the objective? Map that stuff out, and then work towards that with your plan. How you going?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Good. Happening.
Who are you on the phone to?
Right now, nobody.
Who?
I'm not even listening to anything. I don't know where I'm up to. What I'm trying to do is upload something, and I'm going to switch to Telstra because it's faster. Show me. Okay, perfect. Problem solved.
Yeah.
We've got people in our office today that don't want to be filmed, so it's just they don't want photographs, they don't want to be filmed, they don't want anything to do with what goes on here at Best Practice. And I'm like, well, what have you got to hide? So they're not clients, they're one of our suppliers. And it's just I guess it's just a symptom of you guys want to see transparency, and we're happy to share. Like, I'm just sharing what we're doing, and I'm sharing what's going on. And these guys got pretty big blow up this morning here with me just communicating to them to just be aware that there's cameras rolling. The last time they came, they whinged, and I said, don't come here, and they're back. So anyway, so we've said we won't record them, so you won't see them today, but it's just a symptom of organisations that are getting disrupted in the marketplace, and they wonder what happened. It all dries up for them, and they wonder what happened. What do your customers want from you? And what do they want to know? What would they like to be part of? And your suppliers. What do your suppliers want from you? What do they know? What do they want to be part of? But today, the dog started wagging the tail. Not the tail started wagging the dog. So it's been an interesting morning here at Best Practice.
Tesla, you've got to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk.
Is this the one that's blowing up on the internet?
Yeah, because he's smoking.
How much publicity is that? So funny. Are they actually smoking dope in the interview?
Yeah.
I think the thing to be mindful of is brand on message, and for the vast majority of future customers of Tesla, they're not mums and dads. Like, they're not at the beginning of the adoption curve. They're not going to be they're not his market. Okay, so you got shareholders, and you got to be mindful of that. But what about the different types of shareholders that you want to have involved in your organisation, or the different stakeholders? So, for the vast majority of people that actually can afford to buy a Tesla, they don't give a shit about Elon Musk smoking weed. Probably like, oh yeah, he's normal, So certainly in our marketplace, and it's legal. So the fact that he was on Joe Rogan in the first place, I would have thought, don't go on Joe Rogan, if your shareholders are that important. So that's the reality of it, isn't it?
Who's your mentors at the moment?
I've downloaded all of the Tony Robbins podcasts. I think I've stumbled on something that's quite interesting. Really, my plan of attack over the next 4 to 6 weeks is to be spending more time mentoring my own people. Where your mind goes, energy flows, and I'm a great believer in that. And I think the thread from Tony Robbins is, if you've got a goal, or if there's something you're thinking about and it is worth it, fixate yourself on it. I would be asking you to do this. What is my goal? And in the next hour, what one thing or two things can I do? Not anything else, not email, not communication, not go make a cup of tea, not have a cup of coffee. In the next hour after you watch this video, please do one thing that gets you towards a goal you have in your life. if you've got this big goal or you've got this thing that you're thinking about that you want to achieve and you sort of haven't written yourself a to-do list, in the next hour after this video, sit down, quietly, go somewhere, break out to an area where it's quiet and you can concentrate, and write yourself a to-do list of as many things that you can think about that you need to do to reach that goal, and then start working on the first thing on that list. Is that going to be the thumbnail?
Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome.